Hi, I'm Alexander Stead, the host of alexandro.com, and welcome to the Capture-One Live Show, episode number 4. Today we will talk about Capture-One 11.1, which were recently released, and maybe some of you have seen my short overview of this software. That's why, maybe some new tools of this software is already familiar. But first of all, let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, I see some people online on YouTube, and what's happening with Facebook. Let's see. Yeah, I also see. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm really happy that you're watching me right here online, and if you would have any questions, feel free to ask them. Also, I will answer your questions which you have asked to the previous episodes, and also to my video overview of Capture-One 11.1. Okay, before we will start, let's do the standard things. First of all, if you wish to upgrade your Capture-One license, or if you wish to purchase the new license, you can save 10%, and well, that's pretty noticeable amount of money, something like 28 euros. That's why, well, you can just add this code AMBC1 blog, use watcher, and that's all. You immediately will gain a 10% discount. It works equally well for upgrades, for Capture-One for Sony, for upgrades for Capture-One for Sony, well, everything except subscriptions plans. Okay, the second point. If you are new to Capture-One, please visit my Capture-One free guide. It's complete guide to Capture-One. It's absolutely free. It contains lots of links to lots of different resources, and here you will find all the necessary information without lots of overwhelming information about Capture-One, because sometimes when you are new to something, new to new software, and there are lots of absolutely new things, and you just oh my gosh, what is happening here? This guide will be your roadmap in learning Capture-One. Just for example, if you wish to learn something about clarity, just click clarity and you will see the short description of this tool and lots of articles which would help you in mastering this tool. Also, today I will show usage of some styles, and in my work I'm using onestyles.pro film styles. You can go to onestyles.pro/try and download 12 styles for free, absolutely free, without some things like credit card necessary or something like this. Okay. Oh, I see that my video was over the screen. Oh, okay, I'm really sorry about this. We'll just shortly repeat, not everything, but just here is this code AMBC1 blog. Here is my guide to Capture-One, and here is my styles. Sorry guys, we're live here, on air, and such things happen sometimes. Okay, let's start with Capture-One. Let me see, do we have some questions or not? Okay, first of all, that's absolutely free update for Capture-One 11 owners, because sometimes I'm receiving questions oh well, that looks pretty interesting, how much I shall pay for this update? Well, all the updates during the lifetime of 11's release will be free, including Capture-One 11.1. That's why if you already own Capture-One 11.1, just just download it and install it and use it. Like, that's absolutely free. There are lots of interesting features. Let's start with the first feature called Normalize tool. Normalize tool, well, if you have some background with Capture One, I think that you are aware of such a feature called white balance skin tone. This feature in previous versions of Capture One allowed you to to modify white balance to make it more similar to some specific skin tones. That was pretty useful tool, especially when white balance tool in Capture One gained a layer support, and well, it was pretty handy thing. And the Normalize tool is the successor of this tool. That's why in Capture One 11.1 you will not find skin tone tab at all. It's just like it's gone. Like, well, okay. Maybe some of you would be not really happy with this if you're really used to white balance skin tone, but I think you will find the new tool really useful as well. How it works? You can pick a color sample, for example skin tone or anything else, and apply to any other image or images. It's not really important. Okay, let's take few images like here. For example, you're editing images, like a bunch of images, and you have edited like one image. You set the proper adjustments like this. Like this. Okay, and now you can just pick and then apply to the relevant area, because otherwise you would receive quite a strange result. It's not like an ideal tool, it's not the magic make beautiful button or something, but it can just make your batch processing a bit faster, a bit easier, and that's pretty nice. What I also can recommend you that you can switch between applying, between picking and applying color sample with the Alt key. Just like when you're holding the clicking the Alt key, you see that the tools reverse the action. And let's also see how it works on some different images. Like there, for example, you're also doing some editing. Let's make, Normalize tool is more suitable for the basic editing. It's like if you would build something really complicated, which involves a color editor and other things. Well, I don't think that you would gain some fantastic results, because keep in mind that Normalize tool uses only white balance and exposure tool for editing your images. That's why, well, just keep that in mind, because otherwise you would be, you would expect that, oh, that's such a fantastic tool. I just now create everything. Well, actually not, but anyway, it's pretty useful. Like if I wish to set the white balance, something like that, maybe something like this, then I'm just picking the skin tone and applying it to the different image, and you see the result is pretty similar. It works pretty well not only with the portraits, but with other images as well. For example, you have images like this. Let's do something with them. Let's make them a little bit warmer and maybe a little bit brighter. Well, we're just picking some color sample. Let's see. Actually, the most tricky thing is to find the right area for picking color sample and applying color sample. Yeah, something like this. And now let's try to apply. Well, not bad. Maybe no. Yeah, I think. Oh, no. I think something. Yes, something like this. You know, it's in lots of cases you would not get the same result, absolutely the same result. But anyway, it just like if you're, for example, when you're editing like the batch of images, and if you're not really familiar with you know, like hotkeys for copy, applying of adjustments, or if you're just like, if you're, for example, new to raw editing and you don't know how you shall change like white balance and exposure to make few images look pretty similar, well, this tool might really help you. Like this example I was showing in my video review, it works pretty nice, like something like that. Yeah, you see now the both images looks pretty similar. Also, I received a question about this tool, and the question was, is it possible to set skin tone like it was in previous versions? Unfortunately, in Normalize tool, you will not find the you know, like the old presets, like different types of skin tones. But I have a nice trick for you. Keep in mind that you can pick a color sample from any image, including like JPEGs, for example. And this way, you can just create like a screenshot of the old skin tone tool, and we're just like copying, picking the color samples from the old tool, and now we can save it as presets. For example, this one, like save, something like that, right? Or this honey skin tone, honey deep, give save preset. Yeah, and this way you can actually replicate all your favorite skin tones from the original tool. That's why I don't see the big issue here. Yep. And it's also really convenient that you see the small preview of this skin tone like it was in the previous version of H1. Well, it works pretty nice, and that's why if you worry that, well, I would miss the like white balance skin tone, no, I don't think so. I think that like the new tool delivers more features, and exposure tool in this Normalize tool works pretty well. That's why, like in general, it delivers more opportunities for your editing. I'm actually missing only one thing. The point is that the white balance skin tone supported layers, and the new Normalize tool don't. And well, I think that's the biggest issue with this tool, because like actually in a previous version of H1, sometimes I was editing the skin tone by creating the mask from skin color and then applying white balance skin tone. It was really convenient. And with Normalize tool, you can change only the whole image, and well, that's not a good thing. But actually, I think that this version, the actual version of Normalize tool, you know, it's some sort of like proof of the concept, or maybe it's like beta version or something like this. You see this empty space here. I think there is a reason why we have empty space here. It's not just like design user interface thing or something like that. I think that we will see some new tools available for Normalize tool. And I think that if Phase 1 would add color editor to Normalize, it would be absolutely fantastic. It would be like a game changer. But anyway, even in the current version, this tool looks pretty nice, and it's totally worth, you know, like at least to try it. Okay, let's see what we have else. The second important upgrade is creating styles layers from the Styles tool, and I am really excited about this upgrade, because when you know, like when the Capture-One 11 was released, I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa! It's so awesome! It's so awesome to apply styles to layers. It's absolutely fantastic thing. And well, it's pretty fantastic, but the problem is that previously it was not really convenient to apply such a to apply styles to layers, because like, well, it was, you know, you have an image, you have to draw a mask, you know, like something like that, and then you have to go to the Layers tool, right click, apply settings from user styles, and well, okay, it was cool, but you know, like when you're doing this like for a few hundred times, you just like, oh man, I feel that I'm just like wasting my time on it. And like Capture-One 11.1 fortunately fixed this issue. Now you can apply styles to layers right from the Styles tool. Like, let's choose some image here. Well, this looks pretty nice. The point is that you can just scroll through the styles. And for example, you like, well, this fits perfect here. Seriously, you know, like when I'm running my live shows, I'm usually I don't have a script for the show. I have like a general plan what I wish to tell you, and this is my idea of live shows. They shall be live. I mean, like, yeah, there might be some mistakes, like it was in the beginning of this episode, but you know, you just shall feel that I'm here live with you, like a friend who are describing you some features of his favorite software or something like this. Like, it's a real conversation, and that's why I just picked few images to test to show you them with styles. And actually, I'm really surprised that this styles fits perfectly here. Like, I think I would, like, after the show, I would like process this image and maybe publish on like 500px.com or something like that. Okay. When you're clicking in Capture-One 11.1, when you're right-clicking on the style, you see the new menu. Like, the first option, apply to background, it just applies the style to the like general image, the main image, and well, it worked before. the much more interesting thing is the new option, apply to the new layer. When you're clicking this option, you're applying, you're not only creating the new layer, you're creating the mask on this layer and applying styles to it. And now, for example, you can just change the opacity of this layer to find the best result for this. Yeah, I think something like that looks absolutely good here. And also there is like the third option. The third tool is called apply to selected layer, and it applies the style to selected layer. And that's a really important thing. First of all, you have to create a layer. Then you have to draw a mask, like let's something like this. And after this, yeah, you can choose the right style and apply it to selected layer, and you will see that we have applied it only to this part of the image. Also, you can create an empty layer, apply a style to it, and then after this draw a mask. In which case it would be useful. For example, when you have like portrait like this, and let's find some interesting style here. Maybe, well, this looks pretty promising. Okay, I really like it. Yeah, 58. Okay, let's create the new layer. We will apply the style to selected layer. And as you can see, we don't see any result from this style yet, because, well, we don't have a mask on this layer. And that's why, first of all, I will draw a mask. And the feature is that while I'm drawing, I would immediately see the result of this editing. And this looks pretty nice. You know, you can just draw and editing. Because lots of people are thinking about layers in the way of that, well, you have to create a new layer, you have to draw a new mask, and then you're doing something. Well, not necessary. You can just create a layer, then like perform some adjustments, and after this draw a mask, and to see the result like immediately on your image. I will change the opacity, something like that. Well, looks pretty good. I don't really enjoy the skin tone here. Let's create the new layer and a mask on this layer. Something like that. Also, we will refine this mask. Yeah, something like that. Now let's find the style which would fit this area well. Yeah, this one looks pretty nice. Apply to selected layer. Yeah, like this. Now let's see. We have a layer with skin editing and a layer with everything else. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, let's see. Do we have questions? Yeah, I have some questions from Elvis is asking like, good morning. Well, good morning. Actually, in place where I'm running this show, like we have, well, not late evening, but evening. And Alex is asking, so the Normalize tool now replaces the old skin tone tool? Yeah, that's right. It's not actually, it's not really replacing, just the skin tone tab was removed from the white balance, and the new tool, Normalize tool, is built on this tab. It's actually like they just like took the tab from the tool and create the new tool from it. And also Clapton asked about this presets which were available in a previous version of Capture One. As I told, you can just like replicate them by simply creating the screenshot, and just picking the color samples from them. Okay, let's move on. Let's try some other examples of styles and layers. Let's take, yeah, I really enjoy this image for a bunch of reasons, but what I really wish to do there is to create something unusual. Because, like, first of all, let's keep the styles applying to the end of the editing, and I will start this editing with not really obvious move. I will create a new heel layer like this and draw a mask on this part. And you see what am I doing right now? I'm just removing this shadow, and there is a interesting reason why I am doing this. Like, let's find the best sample for such a correction. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, now it looks pretty natural. Take a look. When we see this shadow, well, this image is pretty standard image, like the girl is jumping and you see the shadow and, well, the gravity works and everything else. Without the shadow, there is a feeling that she just jumps really, you know, like she just jumped into the sky or something like this. And I also wish to support this feeling with some color editing. Like, first of all, I will draw a mask on the new layer. I will draw a mask on her skin like this. I will refine this mask. Yep. By the way, if you know, like, if you're still on Capture One 10 and you're just thinking like, well, shall I upgrade my license to Capture One 11? Well, the refine tool, it's absolutely worth the upgrade. 100% guarantee. Okay, creating new layer, copying mask from the layer number 1 and inverting. You see, now I have 2 different layers. First of all, let's find some interesting style for background. Let's find some unusual color correction solution. Yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah, we'll change the opacity. Yeah. Now let's find the style for the skin. Maybe it's something like this. Let's see. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Now we will add a little bit of correction. Yeah, something. Yeah, something like this. And you see, we have completely different atmosphere in this image right now. That's why it's pretty interesting. But in general, this new feature just allows you to really apply styles in the right way. Because like previously, previously you have to create like the new layer and like the new field layer and right click and many menus, and then only you're at your styles. But right now, if you wish to apply style, just find some interesting one. What would work? Well, something like this. Apply to a new layer, and that's all. And you can just change the opacity and find the opacity which would fit better here. Okay, let's see what I have in our agenda. Alice is also asking, did I hear you say that you cannot use the normalize tool with the layers? Yes, unfortunately. You see that I'm on the layer right now, and unfortunately normalize tool doesn't support layers. That's a really bad thing. I think it's the biggest issue of this tool at this moment. I hope that like in future updates of Capture One, Phase 1 would like somehow fix it. But right now, unfortunately, it's impossible to use Normalize tool with layers. Okay, let's move on. Another interesting update are new shortcuts. There are two new shortcuts. Go to Edit Keyboard Shortcuts, Other, and Layers here, and you will see that you have a and now we have a layer on/off shortcut, and select background layer. The particular like shortcuts which you can see right now, it's not a default shortcut. It's my personal shortcuts. That's why if you wish to set your personal shortcuts for this actions, just go to this menu and just like double click, and let's find some shortcut like okay, let's find some, yeah, like this or like this, or maybe like this. And now when you have selected, you can quickly switch to background layer or turn the layer on off with just simple shortcut. It's really useful. Lots of people were asking for this features. Okay, the next interesting thing is absolutely free pack of styles made by Phase 1 called Spring Styles. It contains 10 styles. You will find them in the built-in styles section, and here's like Spring Styles. I think these styles are designed for, you know, like wedding photography, love story photography, and everything else. That's why, for example, let's take this image. We will correct the exposure a little bit, and now let's see how the styles would fit there. well, not bad, really not bad. I think this one or this one looks pretty good here. Also, like let's take image like this. Yeah, I would choose maybe this one for this particular image. Let's take some portrait. Yeah, I wish something like something like this. Yeah, pretty nice, pretty good. You know, like you should never think about styles like this is something that would allow you to you know, like in one click create a fantastic image. I suggest to think about styles like a collection of ideas for color editing, and when you're scrolling styles, you just like, okay, that looks like nice here, and then you're just applying it and adding some additional adjustments. Okay, let's try on some other images. Maybe here. No, I don't think that it would fit. Okay, maybe these flowers. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Anyway, it's an absolutely free style, so that's why, well, why not to try them? What we have? Yeah, guys on Facebook, you also might ask some questions. Feel free. You know, sometimes I'm thinking that people are not asking questions because, well, they know English, but they just think that, oh, maybe my English will be really bad, and the question would look like, you know, really bad. They really worry about this. You know, folks, I'm sitting here, and English is not my native language, and I hope that you're understanding me, and, well, I'm trying not to worry about this, and I suggest to do, and I suggest the same thing for you. Just like if you're thinking that you have something to ask, but you just worry that maybe I would not understand your question or something like this. Well, seriously, just make a rough translation in like Google Translate, copy paste it, and that's all. Don't worry about this. I mean, yeah, like I'm pretty sure that some like native speakers are just listening to me and thinking like, oh my gosh, no, like it's like we don't want to see our language broken. But guys, it's just the price for using the international language. Like anyway, I don't think that this thing might bother anybody. Another thing is another update of Capture One 11.1 is enhanced LCC presets. The point is that LCC is a pretty interesting thing. Like it looks like this. Like I have purchased LCC at CaptureOneComplete.com, but I think that this company have some problems because like some of my students told me that they were trying to order LCC plates from the store and they had some problems. That's why I suggest, for example, if you are living in the UK, there is a great store called Teamwork Digital, and also if you're living in US, you can order LCC plates from digitaltransitions.com. That's why there are some options. You can just Google for Phase 1 LCC plate and you will find some options. It looks like this, like a white plate, and it's used to create this gray images. I will show you some videos. I have recorded these videos like just especially for showing in my lessons. Okay. The idea is that you're making an image of some, for example, some room or some building or some landscape, anything, and then you're just holding this plate right in front and really close, like really close to your lens, and you're creating image like this, like just gray image. And it might be a little bit darker than I am showing, or a little bit brighter than I am showing, but in general you have to see something like this. And the idea is that you're right-clicking on this file and choosing Create LCC. Don't forget to include dust removal information. The LCC is created, and as you can see, there is a sign that it's not a raw file anymore, like the standard raw file anymore. It's like LCC sample. And then you can find the similar image for this sample. Like similar, I mean, like first of all, you have to look at your aperture, because it's really affects it's pretty seriously affects the sensor dust on your image. That's why you shall use like the LCC sample with the same aperture, taken with the same aperture as the image which you wish to edit. And then you just like choosing the both images, right click, apply LCC. Yeah. Then you're going to LCC tool. And now, for example, if you wish to remove this sensor dust, just turn on this check mark, and you will see that all the dust will be removed. It works not really perfect, but it works pretty well. In Caption 11.1, the feature of Caption 11.1 is that you can apply, you can create LCC presets with an information about your lens used for this image. For example, when you're creating like a preset, you're choosing which information will be included in this preset. And now the information about your lens can also be included in this preset. And also when you're choosing the LCC preset, the Caption would suggest which preset would fit better here. In general, LCC is pretty specific thing. It's more like mostly it's used by photographers who are using like pretty old cameras with modern digital backs, and like that's why they might have some color cast and other like problems with the image. But for for just regular photographers, regular I mean like just professional photographer, commercial photographer who are just using DSLR or mirrorless camera, LCC plate is really useful for removing sensor dust. Well, and the last feature of one of the last features of Caption 11.9 is extended AppleScript. Unfortunately, this feature AppleScript is available only on Mac OS, well, by the obvious reasons. But it's pretty interesting thing. If you are not familiar with Apple scripts and about Apple scripts in Capture One, I will show you a few examples. The first one is a really simple script which you can easily find on internet. It is called listed. Just Google for Capture One script listed. And what makes this script? For example, you are working with images. Yeah, you're editing images and you wish to send them to like your retoucher, or maybe to any other person, and or maybe you just wish to tell to your to your boss on your studio like which images are the best, like from your choice. There is a simple option. You're just like selecting the group of images, clicking scripts, listed, and this script just copy pasting all the names of all the selected images in one list, and well, then you can just like copy this names and paste in any like email message or something like this. Like it's really useful. It's like when you're working with images, just list it and you got the list of the names. The second script, well, unfortunately, the second script I can't share with you because I don't have permission from the author of the script. Just sorry, guys, I just can't do anything with this. But I just wish to show how what you can create with scripting. Like for example, you can, when you're working in sessions and you're, for example, shooting titeret, and you have a new photo session with when you're, for example, in this photo session, you are making images of 10 different looks, like, or 10 different models, or like maybe not 10, maybe 20 different like objects or something like this. Let's create a new session called like just test session. And you see we have like an empty session. And when I would run this script, first of all, I need to choose the naming of this format of the folders, which will be automatically created in a folder of my session. Like, for example, let's choose some really simple example like this. Now I have to choose the how the digits and the name of this of if each folder would be would look like something like this. And now the name for the folder. Okay, let's try like live show. Okay, and now I'm choosing how many digits I would have in my counter. And now I'm choosing how many folders I wish to create. Okay, let's take, okay, 10 will be fine. And now you will see that this script automatically created the 10 folders inside my my session folder. And now I can just move them to the session favorites, and that's all. Now if I'm shooting titeret, I can just like set as capture folder, and now I'm shooting in this particular folder. When the next when we're shooting the next model, just like set as capture folder again, and this way we can just move through the list of folders. If you would Google, you would find some other scripts. There are not many scripts. Some of them are paid, but well, if you're looking for some solutions to automate your work, this would work pretty well. Okay, I see some questions. Okay. Jeremy is asking, I have a question regarding the ICC profile. I have a color chart and the software is able to create ICC profile from a raw picture of this card as well as an Adobe profile. Profile generated by this soft will work pretty well with Lightroom and Photoshop, but ICC profile didn't work at all with Capture One. When I want to use it in Capture One, the image is overexposed by at least 2 stops. Do you have an idea on how to use my ICC profiles? Well, I don't think that I'm able to answer this right now because I have to check some information. To be honestly, I'm not the biggest expert in such a technical stuff. Well, first of all, I'm a professional photographer and mostly like portrait and reportage photographer, and that's why I'm not like technical guru or something like this. But I will try to answer your question on the next in the next episode of the show, because I have to check some information or maybe ask some of my acquaintances about this. Maybe I will find the answer for you. Martin is asking, are all your styles from the Phase One store? No, no, no. In the beginning of the show, I told you that I'm using OneStyles.pro film styles. Phase One also has film styles, but they are completely different from all our styles. And well, they're not bad, but I personally prefer my styles, and you can download them and try them. It's absolutely free. 12 styles. Just go to try it free. OneStyles.pro. Okay, let's see other questions. Yeah, there are some more questions. Yeah, here is a comment to one of my previous episodes of live show. You recommend the use of linear response as base curve. I tried this, looks good, but my impression is the result on skies is pretty close to using the standard base curve and pulling down the highlights in the HDR tool. What's your experience, or how do you compare these two methods? Well, first of all, I never suggested to use like linear response curve on the daily basis. I mean, it's a really specific curve. It's a pretty powerful curve, but like in most of the cases, you shall try standard curves. Like, let's open some images. You shall try like autocurve, film standard, maybe sometimes high contrast, high film extra shadow, and the linear response is a really interesting curve, but it's not for for all the images. It's for very specific images. Especially linear response curve works well with the images where you see the lack of information restored from, for example, highlights, and in this case, the linear response curve might be the best option. But the problem is that Capture One evolved pretty seriously during the last releases, and for example, in the Capture One 11, you can just. For example, you can just draw a mask, apply Refine Mask tool, and have a absolutely fantastic mask. And on this mask you can apply high dynamic range, or you can change the curve on this mask. Well, this features makes using the usage of linear response curve not so beneficial. That's why in general I recommend you to use linear response curve only in some specific cases. And I think one of my future episodes would be dedicated to describing these cases, because like it's entirely different topic. It requires some, you know, like some very specific images to show and everything else, and it would take time to show how it works. But I think that I will run such a show, maybe not in the near future, but it's in my plan. Another question. In one of the previous episodes, I mentioned, like the question is like, you mentioned changing channel mode to red, green, blue in preferences. What other setups or preferences do you recommend to get the best out of Capture One? Well, there are a few options. First of all, go to preferences and let's see. I highly recommend to to set the exposure warnings levels to 10 and 245, or maybe 250, or maybe 5 in shadows. Like it depends on your needs. And do the same for peak target levels thing. It would just give you the better understanding of where you have the shadows and where you have highlights. The point is that when you're using the defaults settings, there is a problem. Like when you're turning on the this exposure warnings tool, and you're just working with with the image, and you see like blue zones, or maybe like red zones. Like the red zones indicates the red zone indicates the highlights, and the like not just highlights, but like overexposed areas, and the blue area indicates the underexposed area. And the problem is that you might think that, well, okay, if I will do something like this, everything is fine. Actually, you shall think of different numbers, not the zeros and 255, but it's better to think about numbers like this. In this case, you would see that, for example, this area is darker than 10, and that's not a good sign for you. Well, it's not something crucial, but for example, if you wish to print your images, you have to think about that at least your images shall have like 7 or 10 dark areas, and like 245, 250 in bright areas. It's, you know, like it's not the bold rule or something like this. There are some exceptions, and also like you shall think about different things. So there are lots of details, but in general, you just have to understand that it's not enough not to have like a zero brightness on some area. You have to have like at least like 5 in the dark, something like that. And yeah, that's the first thing. Another one thing, what else I can suggest here? Let's see. Oh yeah, about this image preview. By default, if you're thinking like which image preview size would be better to have by default, I highly recommend you to set something something that would similar to the size of your image when you're editing it in Capture One. It's pretty easy to measure. Just for example, on Mac, just hold Shift, Command, and 4 key, and create a screenshot from this area. And you will see that the actual area which you are using is, yeah, let's open it in Photoshop. Oh, not file in image size, of course. Image size, yeah, you see the sizes, and you can just remember these numbers and use them or something similar to them in Capture One settings. That would just save you some space on hard drive and just would give you some, maybe a little bit increasing of speed during the editing. Because otherwise, if you have like a the screen like this, like I'm using, but actually for live streams I'm decreasing my resolution. That's why the numbers which I'm showing right now, it's not the real numbers I'm using. But if you're using some similar like resolution, you might set, for example, 1440, and you will see the better result of working with previews. Let's see what we have else. Well, of course, like it's really important to customize your interface. I think we will talk about this also in the future episodes, but one of my previous episodes is called Custom Workspaces, where I'm describing the features of customizable interface in Capture One. Okay, and what else we have about the questions? Yeah, and the last questions. The last question is: does the histogram tell me by the relative positions of the color channels histograms whether I need to touch white balance? Well, like if you are not familiar with the things I just read, the point is that Levels histogram has different color channels, and as I have shown in some previous episodes, it might give you some pretty exciting things in the editing. But the point is that I have very specific meaning about white balance. The point is that I strongly believe that if you are not, like technical photographer, if you are not taking images for some, some very specific things, like, for example, when you're taking images of some objects, and these images shall be 100% correct in color for technical reasons. Like it's a really specific thing. In all the other cases, when you're just like portrait photographer, when you're just like wedding photographer, when you're like love story photographer, when you're like a kids photographer or anything like this, you shall think about white balance in the way of creativity. Because like when you're trying to edit images using like numbers or using things like levels, histograms, well, I don't think that it's a right choice. In general, histogram would never tell you anything about how good is your image. The point is that the histogram is just telling you that like you see, you have some information, you have maybe more dark information than bright information, and that's all. Like histogram just telling you what you have in your file, and it doesn't represent any like how great your image is, how beautiful it is, how color are interesting here. And that's why I think when you're editing not the technical things, you shall like change white balance if you think that you need to change it. For example, when you are working with like image like this, you just have to think which white balance would fit better here. And don't think about that, well, maybe it's not the right white balance. So there is no such a thing as a right white balance for a creative photography. It's like it works only for technical stuff. And I'm not a technical photographer, that's why, well, I can't give much comments of this. But if you're taking like portraits, if you're taking like wedding images and everything else, think about white balance like of a tool which just delivers you some creativity, and that's all. Okay, let's see what we have. Maybe some more questions. No, I think I have answered most of the questions. That's why if you wish to upgrade your Capture-One license, for example, if you're right now on Capture-One 11 or right now on Capture-One 9 or Capture-One 10, and you wish to upgrade your license to Capture-One 11, this code would save you a pretty nice amount of money. And also, if you are new to Capture-One, go to my guide to Capture-One, Mastering Capture-One, a free guide. It's completely free. Well, thank you very much for being there, for asking questions. You see, like with each new episode, I have a feeling that we're establishing connections with you. I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, like once a week, it's like a great tradition when like old friends gathering once a week, like playing poker, and we are just gathering to talk about Capture-One. And I think we're establishing pretty nice tradition. And I see like feedback from you. I see that you're asking questions and sharing my videos. Well, I will continue, because I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you're also like having some useful information from my shows. That's why thank you for being with me, and I hope I will see you next Tuesday. I haven't chosen the topic for the next live show, but I will create something interesting. Okay, thank you very much. Take care. Have a great week. Bye.